Just getting in the pre now, stem free because it's late at night. Caffeine is a great tool, and if you have it, use it. Problems I have with caffeine. Big one is messing with sleep. If it messes with your sleep, it messes with your recovery, how well you're going to be able to perform. So at that point, if it's messing up your sleep, it is not a net positive. Another thing, if you drink a lot of caffeine in general, yeah, right before going to the gym, if you take like 100 mils or 200 mils, whatever, but you've had 400 throughout the day, you do that all the time, you're constantly going to the gas station to get drinks, it's not gonna be worth it. You're gonna see less of an effect, right? You're gonna be used to the caffeine. Me personally, this is the only time I have caffeine. I mean, occasionally I'll have like a Monster or Red Bull or something, but that's every now and then. I don't use them to wake up. That's not how I personally like to ingest my caffeine. If that is how you like to do it, and you also lift and want to take some caffeine before your lifts, I would just say keep it to a minimum, right? Like 150 mils in the morning. That's it. That's all you really need. For the gym, you don't really need to be double scooping. It's very, very tempting. Everybody on the internet's like, oh, I double scoop, I'm a badass. I mean, yeah, you're gonna feel it, but I mean, me personally, I feel it in my gut a million times stronger than I do anywhere else, right? Double scooping for me does nothing but hinder performance, because the entire time I want to shit my brains out. But maybe you've gotten attuned to doing it that way. I mean, I'm not your dad. Do what you want. People might claim, oh, never caffeine. Caffeine's terrible for your heart. Yeah, if you're drinking 400 mils plus a day, then yeah, you might have some issues. But if you're, like I said, 150 in the morning, 150 before the gym, right? Maybe an occasional Monster or two just for funsies, or because it's sitting in the fridge, then whatever. Don't throw a fit about it. We'll say though, this mix has a lot of ingredients, and I don't like that because, I mean, lots of ingredients supposedly increase your performance. A lot of iffy studies on that. Also, it's expensive. You can make this at home for way cheaper. I think the big ingredients are citrulline, the caffeine, and there's another one. If you like the tingles, the beta-alanine, I'm not a big fan. See you in there. Y'all got iPhone audio for most of that. Lovely. Right now, debating hitting the second set. I mean, if this was something that was like a crazy setup just to do one set, I might be a little disappointed. Just walk over here and grab dumbbells. You know, not a big deal if I come over here and hit one set.
it's whatever. Since I'm here, I'll end up doing some preacher curls with hammer grip, neutral grip. So yeah, just stick to one. Just got the little cuff set up. I used to wrap this around my wrist, and honestly, this one would be fine because it gets pretty small. Problem I used to have is these would be a little loose, right? So if I tried to do this, it would slip off my wrist. So when I get to the bottom, it'd run up my arm, and then when I get to the top, it'd run back up. So all I do instead is just grab it like this, alright? Now, if you're grabbing it like this, or you're trying to do like some underhand stuff, yeah, you're going to have a problem because there's going to be play from your wrist trying to flex and extend. But if you hold it side to side, there's not a whole lot of play there. You can hold your wrist pretty steady there. I do prefer if I could do this two-handed. You may have heard this before, but if I'm doing it two-handed, or if I'm doing it single-handed, I got some play this way, alright? If I'm doing it two-handed, I don't really have play that way because I have my other hand to kind of balance it out. Some unilateral work doesn't hurt. I mean, sure, there might be better ways to go about doing this unilaterally. None that I've thought up of. If you have any Planet Fitness hacks for it, then have at it. But whew, give myself a little rest between arms. If you don't feel the need to, whatever. I honestly think it's the move. Because, yeah, sure, you could go straight from one arm to the other, wait 3 minutes, straight arm to the other. Or you could do one arm, wait a minute 30, do the other arm, wait a minute 30. Right? Same time. There's more than just your muscular fatigue, your peripheral fatigue. You also have your central fatigue, your systemic fatigue, whatever words you want to put to it. You get tired from doing something. Small muscle like this, not a big deal. But if you're doing like Bulgarian squats, split squats, oof, going straight from one leg to the other, yeah, I think you're going to lose a rep. You're going to lose some focus. You're going to be a little exhausted. So give it a shot at least. At least give it a shot. Damn, lost some reps there. I didn't have enough space to jam my thumb in there, so I put my thumb up here and was kind of twisting at it. Couldn't extend all the way. Bad setup on my part. Yeah, actually, I don't think it matters much because this cuff just isn't that great. It's too small. If you've done triceps, you know it starts to get weaker at the lockout. So the fact that it's, I don't even know if you guys can see this, but at the bottom, that cable runs pretty close in angle, like, I don't know, 30 degrees, right between that cable and my arm. So there's not a lot of tension at the bottom, which you don't need because they're so weak down there. Counter argument might be that triceps have seen some better growth in the in a full lockout, or not full lockout, but in you know what I mean. I just can't think of the word. I mean, if they're weaker there, then what's the point, really? You could load it up with a weight that's most comfortable doing it here, or you could add a whole lot more weight and then just manipulate how heavy it is here with the angle of the cable. Whew, hitting some pec flies. Pec deck. Boy, do I love this machine. I do have problems with my elbow tendon. I find that if I just bend my elbows a little bit, it goes away. I drop it back at the back. I try not to drop it so much that my hands come back in. Like, I'm not trying to turn this into a press, but I have seen that sometimes when I come back, my elbows kind of come in a little. I'm gonna try avoiding that this time, but I do suggest a little bit of elbow bend, right? And you might be thinking, what? You don't want to use your biceps. Why are you using your biceps? Well, you're actually kind of reducing the load on your biceps by bending it, because you're moving that moment arm in a little bit, right? But you are toning your biceps a little. Toning, don't get me started. Some people might say, well, then, but at the top you have to lock out because you got to get the full contraction. And it's like, well, my argument against full range of motion has always been that it's kind of just something people say. At the top there, technically speaking, you can keep going. Like, I could go to here comfortably. If I was really doing full range of motion, I'd be dropping my elbows all the way back and going, whoa, right? I'd have some crazy cable setup. It's not necessary, right? Just bring it up to the top. If you want to touch your knuckles, have at it. I've been trying to get away from arching, so I'm going to try to keep my nose straight out looking at the mirror. I think as far as arch and your shoulder blades go, a little bit of an arch isn't bad. A little bit of an arch isn't bad at all. It's been shown to put your pecs at a more advantageous position, which if you're a power lifter, you know. If you're a power lifter, yeah, that's a cue. Keep your arch nice and big, right? Press and retract your scapula, all that jazz. I think if you're a power lifter, yeah, that's all great advice and something that when you're doing the pec deck, sure, carry it over. But if you're single mother of three, if you're bodybuilding just as a hobby, just let your scapula move around. I've kind of implanted big arch and retracting and depressing my scapula because I watched videos of how to make your bench big, and that was the big thing in football was who had the biggest bench. And just go ahead, tiny arch, right? Big arch, just a little tiny arch, right? Keep your butt planted, keep your back on the pad. One thing that gets shit on a lot is chest supported rows, right? Because people are like, oh, you need to grow your erectors. Your erectors are part of your back. I think erectors are very important, right? You want a nice, thick, juicy back. Yeah, you should build your erectors, but on back day? Nah. I mean, it's different if you've got different parts of your body you need to bring up. For me, my legs are great. So if I'm going to be working my erectors, it's going to be on leg day. It's going to be doing a back squat, RDLs, something, loading my back that way, not actually on back day. I find when I try to do a bent over row compared to chest supported, I could lose like 25% of the weight, right? Just because I'm trying to get, which my lower back is a weakness because I spent so long doing that. So don't neglect your erectors, but you don't need to throw a hissy fit over not having some erector work on your back day. If anything, go ahead, throw in some actual erector specific work. Do some back extension, right? Alright, good color there. Warm-ups. For this, I just did one warm-up set at about 40% of my top set. I think it's always good to hit one warm-up set on all your exercises, right? Because you want to get a feel for, okay, this is how I do it, right? Like for me, trying to remember, I want to keep my elbow where this orange pivot is, right? I want to keep my elbow straight, so I don't want to be like this, right? Trying to curl like that, right? Kind of want to keep my humerus and my ulna slash radius in line, right? And I'm remembering, hey, when I get to the bottom, right, don't fully extend because then your elbow will come off the pad. Just like get it so your forearm touches the pad, right? I'm thinking all of this during my warm-up set so I have good working sets, right? You also want to make sure, hey, are my elbows feeling achy today? Am I feeling something on my bicep tendon today? Always a good idea to hit at least one warm-up set. Now, usually I hit two. Why didn't I hit two this time? Well, because I've already done a biceps exercise, right? I just did pec deck, which, no, it's not directly training biceps, but yeah, or elbow flexors, I should say, because I'm doing neutral grip. But yeah, they're going to work on it. So, no real reason to do another heavy set. The reasons to do a heavy set, post-activation potentiation, PAP. No, not the smear. All right, calm down, ladies. No need to fear. Basically means you flex your muscles, right? You use your muscles, they get stronger immediately. Why is that? Myosin heads, right? Inside your muscle fibers. Myosin heads pull on actin. You might have heard this before. It might be completely lost on you. Don't fret. All you need to know is that when they do that, that makes your muscles move. And when you do that, right, instead of when you're at rest, they kind of sit here. Once you get them to do that once, they rest here, right? Well, you can imagine if I have to start here, that's way more work than if I start here, right? That's all you really need to know. Seven's good. Yeah. Whew, got some tingles there. Probably could have hit another rep. Me personally, I think if you can hit another rep, go ahead and do it. There's no point in slowing this arm down for this arm to catch up. It's way easier to lose muscle than gain it. So if I were ever so worried about hopping on stage and I was like, oh, I'm so imbalanced, give this arm, your strong arm, whichever, give it a week off and it'll shrink. 2 weeks off, more like it, but regardless, it'll shrink. I can't just go, oh no, this arm's too small, and then grow it in 2 weeks, right? That's way slower a process. Did notice on that rep that the reason I brought myself up was because sometimes I don't line myself upright and I kind of naturally rock it up and back down just to make sure my elbow's in the right spot. Yeah, I'd rather just pull it up with my other arm, not go wasting my energy on setup. I think it's the problem with a lot of these science-based super stable setups is that you've got to grab something from over here, wrap it on your arm, and then walk over. You're holding your arm with your other arm to go grab something else. And if it's a really strenuous setup, well then you're gonna be knocking yourself out before you even get to the lift. I think same goes for a lot of free weight, like dumbbell presses. The issue I find a lot with dumbbell presses is getting them set up, flinging them up onto your shoulders, and then doing press. Especially if you're doing low reps, heavy weights, that's gonna tax you a lot right before your set. Directly before your set, you're doing work you don't need to. That's why me personally, if I'm doing a dumbbell press, I go ahead and I down the weight till I'm doing like 8-10 reps. Well, because if I have to grab the hundreds, right, lug them on my shoulder and push them up, yeah, it's a lot of work. But if I can lug over the 80s, right, throw them up here, yeah, it's still a bit of work, but it's a lot less than trying to throw 100 pounds up on my shoulders. You might have noticed, instead of dropping it back down, I'm not just dropping it, all right? Don't do that. You're gonna hurt yourself. It's like letting go of a rubber band. Letting go of weight that's on a rubber band. Not a good idea. Eccentric movements, don't fuss about making them super slow, controlled, eccentric. Right? There's some people that are going to tell you, yes, that's what grows the muscle. Passive tension might be a thing in advanced lifters. It might not. For beginners, it definitely is. One situation I would suggest slow eccentrics is if you're just learning something, make sure you're got the form down. All right, eccentrics have been shown to be good for injury prevention and such. So if you're just starting, yes, go ahead, slow down the eccentrics. But if you're somebody who's been in the game for like 10 years, right? You don't have any injury concerns on the specific lift, no need to go fussing over it. Really thought I had that eighth one in the bag. Might have been able to fight for it a little more. I'm no longer doing forearms on push days. I did it because it was like tradition. I've always done it. And I mean, it's never caused me issues because I do back day the next day with all my Versa grips, so it doesn't matter. But last lift, leg day, hit some RDLs. Grip gave out with the Versas. So we're gonna go ahead and save that for last lift of the, you get what I'm saying.
One thing I did want to know, forgot to know, I didn't fill this back up. I do a pretty good job of keeping myself hydrated throughout the day. I find that drinking water during my lifts, if anything, just makes me feel bloated, makes my stomach feel all full, and it's not very comfortable. I thought about it, I was like, well, that kind of extends to drinking the pre as well. If you're like me, you keep yourself well hydrated and you're hopping straight into the gym and you got your pre-workout, you're gonna drink it all and then do some warm-ups and then hop into lifting. Don't do that. Don't just chug your pre. Why? Because you're gonna bloat yourself, you're gonna make your stomach feel full, and if you're like me and you're trying to suck it in for the camera, that's not going to be comfortable and it's going to hurt your lifts. So yes, pre is useful. Yes, caffeine has been shown to do the work. No, you should not be trying to get every single grain of caffeine if it's going to bloat yourself or if it's going to make your tummy feel upset. If you watch this late, thank you very much, very, very much. This is probably an hour-long video. Good Lord. I appreciate you for watching. Comments, concerns, questions, all go in the comments section. Wanting to contact me personally, I have all of my socials in my description. So go check out my TikToks or Instagrams if I even have them, or just send me a DM with a question if you want it answered like that. Appreciate y'all. See y'all next lift.